Try to imagine this. A single yes in a police interview room could end up becoming the biggest mistake of your life. And that's exactly the psychological trap Emmerdale pushes Paddy Kirk into in the February 18th episode. This episode opens with a familiar Emmerdale atmosphere. The village may look peaceful on the surface, but whenever something happens, it sparks a chain of investigations, interrogations, and suspicion. And not everyone in the village is strong enough to hold their ground under police questioning. Today, that weakness is exposed clearly as Paddy, already anxious, sits face-to-face with DS Walsh in an interview room. Paddy and Dylan Penders are brought to the station because Walsh suspects they were involved in Ray Walter's murder. Bear has been arrested, but he sticks to one story. No one else helped him dispose of the body. Walsh doesn't buy it. All week, she's had a feeling something is off, especially considering Bear's poor physical condition after escaping the farm. Someone in that state handling everything alone doesn't quite add up. And when Bear refuses to say anything more, Walsh shifts her focus to Dylan and Paddy, hoping one of them will crack. What's interesting is that Dylan holds up fairly well in the interview room. He stays consistent and keeps reminding Walsh that he's a victim in this situation too. There's a key psychological point here. When someone repeatedly positions themselves as the victim, it works both as a shield against pressure and as a way to keep the narrative from sliding into dangerous territory. Dylan seems to understand that if he lets emotion take over, panic, anger, or over-explaining, he hands the detective something to grab onto. But when it's Paddy's turn, the tone shifts completely. Paddy says he wasn't involved in Ray's death because he was out of the village attending a veterinary conference. When asked if he has physical proof he spent the evening at a hotel, Paddy says yes. And in that moment, the episode almost stamps in a chilling realization. This could be his slip-up. Why is a single yes so dangerous? Psychologically, it's a very human reflex. Under interrogation, people often want to offer something that sounds solid, something that will end the questioning as quickly as possible. For someone as nervous as Paddy, being watched, judged, and picked apart detail by detail makes him crave an anchor. A firm, confident answer. But that confidence opens a new door for Walsh. If Paddy claims proof exists, the detective only needs to do one thing: go and find it. And if she can't, his story collapses in the most convincing way possible because it's no longer just suspicion. It becomes a statement that should be verifiable, but turns out to be empty. Back home, Paddy updates his cover story to his colleague Rona Goskirk so she can back him up if Walsh questions her. Rona remains hopeful and tries to reassure him that everything will be fine. But Paddy knows the truth. If Walsh digs deep enough, she won't find invoices or receipts proving he stayed at a hotel on the day Ray was killed. To me, this hits a very real kind of fear. Not just fear of being caught because of guilt, but fear of losing control of the story. Paddy can already see the scenario playing out. Walsh only needs one small detail to tighten the entire net around him. And the key issue is that Paddy isn't the type who can stay cold and composed under pressure. He shows anxiety too easily. His emotions rise to the surface. And to a detective like Walsh, that's almost a green light. What I find most compelling here is how the show uses pressure psychology. The more anxious someone becomes, the more they want to say something certain, and that very certainty turns into a weakness. The writers don't need a loud, dramatic twist. One wrong choice in an interview is enough to pull viewers into the tension. If Walsh checks the details, what does Paddy do next? The brilliance is that Paddy isn't only threatened by the police, he's threatened by his own panic. The more scared he gets, the more he tries to build something solid, and the easier it is for that solid thing to be proven false. And the episode leaves us with a heavy question. Has Paddy just all but sealed his fate? If Walsh already senses Bear didn't act alone, and now Paddy has offered proof that doesn't actually exist, a single round of verification could shift everything from suspicion to accusation much faster than anyone expects.